Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come, join me. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come once more. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come.
Good morning. I'm Lisa Conger, your lay leader for this morning, and I welcome you to the Unitarian Church of Spokane. We're glad to have you with us. UUCS is a very welcoming congregation, and we appreciate your unique background, beliefs, or lifestyle. If you're one of our longtime members or have been here a short time, or if you're joining us today for the very first time, we're delighted to have you. So thank you for coming. I would like to especially welcome and briefly introduce our guest speaker, Esteban Herevia, okay, President and CEO of Spokane Pride. I will more fully introduce him closer to his sermon. And I'd like to also welcome our special musicians, Kevin Gardner, a longtime friend of this congregation who's returned, and Matt Danielson, who's helping with the piano playing, and he is Vice President of Spokane Pride. So please take a few minutes now to greet one another and share your stories and say hi to someone you haven't met. Thank you. We'll have more time to greet one another following the service during our coffee hour. We now turn from our informal greeting of one another to formally begin our service by lighting our chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, the symbol of our unity and solidarity, of our openness and inclusion, of our community and individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need. and may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt where it has been found. Our opening reflection is a poem by Bob Janis Dillon, not Bob Dylan, Bob Janis Dillon. Jesus at the Parade. Later, there were mutterings at the bar and throughout the law courts that Jesus only showed at the Gay Pride Parade to love the jewel but not the quality, to love the potluck but not the food, to love the vessel but not the wine, to love the hot rod but not the driver, to love the baby but not the drool, to love the rock but not the cathedral, to love time but not history. To which I say, if you saw him on the float, his arm cradling the jubilant and the grave, his head thrown back in ecstasy, harboring kisses without restraint, if you had heard the songs which rose among us to possess the city's tender hearts in common, if you had desired as we had, ached in the body's soul places, you would not so easily doubt the divine, particular, gushing joy that told us we were his own.
Please rise to sing the first in-service song of the morning. This is out of our turquoise hymnal. If you care to access it, it's 1053, and of course the words are on this screen. This is a Libby Roderick tune.
Oops. Sorry. I know it's Candles of Care, and I know that I typed it up, but where is it? Well, I didn't get any notices of anyone needing a candle lit, but of course, as every morning that we meet, we've been lighting a candle for the people and the region of Ukraine with all the turmoil that's going on and the war. And I think we should light a candle for all the people that worked so hard on the Gay Pride Parade and all those who support and are allies of Gay Pride. And if you have anyone else that you would like to remember, please feel free to say their names aloud, and we'll hold them in our hearts and prayers. Those named aloud, and those remembered in the silence, and all those who are suffering elsewhere in our world this hour, we hold in our community with compassion. It is now time for our meditation. I am sorry, I don't know what happened to me. Offertory, yes. We now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which sustains this community and its mission to the larger world.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside can make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, just call me up, because you know I'll be there. 'Cause I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, just call me up, because you know I'll be there. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors, your true colors, your true colors keep shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
I'm Nancy Avery. I'm the Pride team leader here, and it was a true pleasure to participate yesterday in the parade. The story I chose for the time, story for all ages, is Pride, the story of Harvey Milk and the rainbow flag. You have to give them hope. Hope for a better world, hope for a better tomorrow. Harvey Milk was an ordinary man, but he had an extraordinary dream, a dream that would change history. See if the teacher in me is coming out. Harvey dreamed that everyone, even gay people, would have equality. He dreamed that he and his friends would be treated like everyone else. He dreamed that one day, people would be able to live and love as they pleased. Oh, that's what you can look over my shoulder. With his New York accent, Harvey talked to everyone about his dream. His voice boomed, his body bounced with energy and excitement. Some people listened. A few agreed. Most did not. But Harvey's big voice and his big dream wouldn't be stopped. He discovered that the best way to change laws was to help make laws. In 1977, Harvey Milk took a big step toward that dream when he became one of the first openly gay people elected to political office in the United States. Harvey and his friends planned marches to protest inequality and unfair laws. And just days before one of the marches, Harvey had an idea. A symbol, he thought. We need a symbol, one that shows who we are and how we feel. Something to carry during the march, something to make people feel a part of the community, something to give people hope, something extraordinary. Harvey knew an artist who could help, Gilbert Baker. Harvey asked. Gilbert said, "We need a flag." Volunteers arrived to help Gilbert's design come to life. Together they dipped fabric into large barrels filled with vibrant colors. They cut and pieced and sewed until Harvey, Gilbert, and the other activists had a flag with 8 colorful stripes, a flag that Harvey hoped would give hope. Rights are only won by those who make their voices heard. On June 25th, 1978, when it was time for the march, a breeze stirred in San Francisco and the flag unfurled. The wind blew, the flag fluttered, flapped, and flew. A rainbow as bright and unique as the men and women who walked behind it. Harvey and the people asked for equality. They asked to be treated like everyone else. They asked to live and love as they pleased. They hoped the march would make a difference. We saw a lot of those costumes yesterday. 5 months later, on the morning of November 27th, 1978, Harvey and the mayor of San Francisco were assassinated. Their lives were taken by a man who did not think like Harvey, or feel like him, or love like him. The flag did not fly on that dark, sad night. Instead, thousands and thousands of people marched silently, carrying candles. The candlelight wove through the streets of San Francisco, up and down the hills and around the city buildings. A mile of glowing candlelight in honor of 2 lives lost. That could have been the end of Harvey's dream and the colorful flag, but it wasn't. More rainbow flags were created. Some of the colors changed. 8 stripes became 6 stripes. But the meaning of the flag did not change. It was a flag of equality. More and more people began to think of the flag as their flag. And they began to feel pride, and they began to feel hope. In 1994, Gilbert Baker designed another rainbow flag. This one was larger than all the rest. Women and men side by side carried the flag, a proud, mile-long rainbow floating through the city of New York. The flag wove through the streets, up and down avenues and boulevards and around the city buildings. The people demanded equality. They demanded to be treated like everyone else. They demanded to live and love as they pleased. They were proud, they had hope, and they would make a difference. And this flag was 30 feet across and a mile long. I asked for the movement to continue, for the movement to grow. More rainbow flags were made. Some were printed on bumper stickers and T-shirts. Others were hoisted onto lampposts on Halsted Street in Chicago. One was hung in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. Soon the rainbow flag was flying in other countries, like Brazil, England, Israel, Russia, Singapore, and Turkey. The rainbow flag now unfurled on farms, in suburbs, and the cities. The flag flew proudly outside public buildings, hotels, shops, restaurants, churches, and homes. And once, on June 26, 2015, the White House was awash in the colors of the rainbow flag. Equality, pride, hope, love. Harvey's dream became a flag for all of us. And oftentimes people are wondering what the colors stand for. And as with the stripes themselves, some of the meaning has changed as well. But the red represents life, the orange, healing, the yellow, sunlight and new ideas, the green, nature and prosperity, the blue, serenity, and the purple is spirit. Thank you.
It is now time for our meditation. I invite you to find a comfortable, receptive posture. Take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes if you wish. We'll enter the silence after these words from Kate Bowler. Blessed are you, friend, sitting among the shards of what could have been. It is broken now, that dream you loved, and it has spilled out all over the ground. Blessed are you, dear one, letting your eyes look around and remember all the hope your dream once contained, all the love, all the beauty. Blessed are you, telling your tears they can flow, telling your anger it can speak. Blessed are you when mourning is the holy work of the moment, for it speaks of what is real. Blessed are you, letting this loss speak all of its terrible truth to your soul. Blessed are we who mourn, saying, let us remain in grief's cold winter for as long as it takes, that morning light be to our hearts the gentlest springtime.
Words create worlds. God spoke in Genesis, their language distilling into stars, oceans, planets. And God still speaks today, always innovating, constantly creative. They do not bend to cultural progress. Rather, she leads the way. Not innovation for innovation's sake, but the plan of an upside-down kingdom where the last are first and the dinner table is set for the unlikeliest of guests. Their magnetic love draws in the insider and swings wide the doors for any and all. Religious elites look on, shaking their heads at this lavish outpouring of outrageous grace. Words create worlds. God spoke in Genesis, their language distilling into stars, oceans, planets. And God still speaks today. As their voice echoes and new constellations dance into view, may we have minds that stretch wide enough to perceive the vastness of their imagination. And may we have ears to hear, unoffended by the greatness of their grace, even when its boundaries are farther than our own.
Special creation. So, come take a look. Give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise. I don't want pity. Some think it's noise, I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each feather and each spangle? Why not try and see things from a different angle? Your life is a sham till you can shout out loud, I am what I am. I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I deal my own deck. Sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. There's one life and there's no return and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closets. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I
Thank you, Kevin. That was wonderful. Esteban Herevia, he, him, his, is the president and CEO of Spokane Pride, the organization that produces the Spokane Pride Parade and Festival. He co-founded Wonderfully Made Spokane, a nonprofit entrusted with increasing inclusion and celebration of LGBTQ plus people in faith communities. Esteban is the strategist for health justice and belonging at the Washington State University Elson as Floyd College of Medicine. And he was recently recognized in the Spokane Coeur D'Alene Living magazine's 20 Under 40 list for 2021. Welcome, Esteban.
Thank you so much for having me this morning. I appreciate the question. How the heck did you have time to be here today? And you know, it's the season. This is what it's about. This is what we do. This is how we do it, and you all are a part of it. And so I think I want to start off by saying that it's an honor to be with you this morning. Nancy, can you read the very first line of the book again for me? One more time, please.
Sure. You have to give them hope, hope for a better world, hope for a better tomorrow.
When I was considering what to talk about today, it's all around hope. And so to hear that as the opening line from the reading today, I think kind of confirmed what my spirit has been feeling in this season. Because it's true, if we don't have hope, what else do we have? I have to set a timer for myself so that way I know I don't go over. Because I want today to be, I want to talk with you. I want to share where I find myself and how I enter into this space. Because I was telling some folks earlier, this was never, this life, what I do for a living and what my day looks like is not what I had in the bingo card of life. I never anticipated to be in this space, to be doing this sort of work. And so when I say that it comes with extreme gratitude, it's been a wild ride, and I cannot be more grateful to have the opportunity to serve and to be present in these ways. Why do I say that? You know, the reality of my story and where I find myself is I've had a rough go. When I first came out, I came out when I was 15 years old, and I sat my parents down, and I said, I think I might be gay. And instead of being welcomed with love and acceptance, I was met with violence. My father decided in that moment that the only way that he could respond was to beat me until I was unconscious. My mom had to basically drag my body into the house to keep me safe. And from that moment on, I was homeless for a number of years until I was about 23. I got myself through high school, I got myself through college, and in the process, I actually turned to religion. I come from a long line of pastors. My parents were pastors, my grandparents were pastors, my aunts and uncles were pastors. Technically, I'm next in line to take over our family church, but as you can imagine, that's not going to happen. and so when I decided to come out that first time, I did not realize what sort of doors that would open and what sort of doors that would close. I did not realize that I would have to journey alone for a very, very long time. I also have to let you know that my family and we have reconciled since then, and we have experienced a great outpouring of grace and forgiveness amongst ourselves. There was a moment where my dad and I was graduating from college. He and I just had we battled it out, and we talked about it, and we had a moment where we realized that I thought I was making the right decision for my life. They thought that I was not, and so there was just all of this tension, and we, in some wild, I can't even tell you how it happened. We talk about it constantly. We go through and we reflect on what that time was like for us. And it's wild because when all I know how to do is to be myself. All I know how to do is to show up as my authentic self into spaces. And I recognize that my time here on earth is also meant to help folks see the fullness in themselves and to help reflect the beauty and the hope that they need and that they can experience. And once my parents recognized that, I think they began to realize, wait a second, there's something here that we're not seeing. One of the things that they talk about often is that they thought that I was going into a world with no hope. They thought that I was making choices that would lead me to a path of destruction. And yet, I found myself growing and building and living a life of abundance, something that I thought I would lose. I was told for so long that by making these choices and by showing up in these spaces that God would stop loving me and that God would stop blessing my life. And it is so wild to be here now and to know that the blessing has not stopped. And the blessing will continue to go on and on and on. And so this morning, having the book, the very first line of the book, talk about the hope that we need and the hope that we see, I find myself most days wanting to encourage folks and to give them a sense of hope through the work that we do. It is truly an experience to say that we put on a pride parade for a community like Spokane. You can imagine that it's hard. It is difficult. But gosh, the reward is wild. Yesterday, we don't even know how many people we welcomed at this point. We know that at one point, we can say that there was probably around 10,000 people in the park at one point. At one time, there was 10,000 people in the park. We were not ready for that. The parade had so many participants in it so typically in 2019, we had about 1,100 folks on average registered to march in the parade. I did some quick math, and we had about 3,000 on average and walking through the streets yesterday, and if you saw the parade, it felt like so much more than that. And I don't know about you, Matt. Matt also has been working with the organization for some time now and has a lot more experience with other prides, but it just feels like we continue to grow. And the messages that folks are receiving at home isn't a message of hope. And so we understand that our role as a community organization is to bring people the hope that they so deserve. The majority of folks for COVID was really tough. I'm sure it was tough for a lot of us in this room. And for many of them, they were receiving messages of unacceptance and loneliness and sadness and a loss of community. And so yesterday for us meant that we had the opportunity to rethink, to reimagine, and to re-speak all the worth and beauty back to folks, to reflect to them who they are, the dignity and the honor that they so deserve. And it was an opportunity for us to just let folks that we were so proud of them. And it's been amazing to go through social media and to just see how many folks, one, showed up, but two, were reminded of the hope that they so needed. For me, it's been rough. In 2020, I got COVID. And I was hospitalized with COVID. My kidneys failed twice. I had a stroke in January. And then I also had a family member murdered in January. And so going into this Pride season for me, it's felt a different layer of one, the need for community, but two, also the need for just love. And yesterday there was a moment where just seeing all the people and being around everyone and to feel it and to feel the closeness and to understand and to really see it play out in real time, the kind of love that lets people know that they are welcomed, that they belong, and to know that it was transforming their lives alongside transforming mine at the same time. I think it, you can't make that up. It's not something that's far away either. I think when we talk about living into our fullness, when we talk about having the hope of being who we were created and who we were meant to be, for some folks it feels very distant. And what we don't realize is that it all starts with the words and the language that we use. By simply telling somebody, hey, I'm proud of you, that can transform their outlook. By telling somebody, I love you, I'm grateful for you. Even having folks say for themselves that they're beautiful, that can transform people's lives. And so the language that we use and the ways that we decide to use language and the ways that we choose to express the hope and the beauty of people, it all has power. And so the fact that we get a platform to do that in a very big way, I don't take that for granted. And I'm also going to do the very best that I can because we deserve it. And so to be here this morning with you, I'm going to take every chance I can to let people know that there's hope there. There's hope for every of us. There it is. Okay, good. On time. Trust me, I'll go over. So I wrote this reflection right after being in the hospital. And I just found myself overcome with trying to make sense of the experiences. And the only way through for me was hope. And so I'd love to bring this to you. I'd love to fill the space with this. And just think, it could act as a meditation. It could act as creating space, but I'd really love to share this with you. Hope will. Hope makes, hope does, hope is. Hope will, hope makes, hope does, hope is. Hope will, hope does, hope makes, hope is. Hope will, hope makes, hope does, hope is. I find myself abandoned by hope most days, left with no smile to show or emotion to share, because to do so can cost my life. Actually, it has. My mind scratches like an old record playing the same words over and over again. How can I make this feel comfortable? The words the nurse said as I laid in a hospital bed, overcome by fever and breath. He looked me straight into the eyes and asked, how can I make this feel comfortable? Hope led me to believe that I could go completely unscathed by even the scariest measure of life, death. Hope left me laying here gray, breathless, aching. I thought hope was supposed to be about looking to heaven while trudging through hell or imagining a life of abundance. Instead, it has turned into counting breaths and making sure there is enough of them to keep this body moving. Hope doesn't look how it did before. Hope will. Hope will see things in a new way. I have to be honest, I've been through some pretty tough shit. Like the life shit that should have taken me out years ago, the kind of stuff that they try to make these big, beautiful movies out of, but they won't ever tell my story because I know that it's too real and it's hard for some folks. And I also understand that it doesn't come in standard packaging. So for myself, I must shout from the rooftops, I am the embodiment of my ancestors. I am a spirit full of lessons learned, heart broken, beaten, hidden until now. I must proclaim with enough hope to know I am here even when I find myself abandoned by hope these days. Why? To do so already honors who I am, who I was created to be, who I am becoming, and who I will become. Doors close, people will leave, but I am myself, to me, forever. Hope makes a way. It makes me believe I have full worth and full value. It makes me see those around me with the same value and worth. It calls me to engage with people in ways that leak of joy or that reek of happiness. It asks me to sit and listen and learn and watch for my benefit and to participate in the exploration of my neighbor. Good or bad, hope makes me feel connected to you, to know that you've walked through stuff too. It reminds me that we were in this together to begin with. Of all the things, conflict is the manifestation of that reminder. Hope does some weird things, like reconcile an abandoned son to his father, or a nurse to comfort someone close to the end of their life, or cause systems of injustice to fail because far too many people have been killed at the hands of racism and oppression. That is just wild. Hope is the current in our liberation. My body size, ability to swim, and lack of exposure to the outdoors make for the perfect worst decision to float the Spokane River 2 summers ago. Leading up to getting into the water, my head replayed every possible negative outcome. The tube flips, I drown, I die. I hit my head on a rock, I drown, I die. A snake is in the water, which I'm terrified of snakes. A snake is in the water, it bites me, I drown, I die. You know, normal thoughts when you're about to float the river. And the worst actually happened. My tube popped. I was beyond the weight limit of the tube, and it popped as soon as I hit intense rapids. I was with friends, and without even missing a beat, they grabbed my legs, coached me through, keeping my body afloat until we made it to a slower part of the river. The relief I felt when I was able to stand up is hard to capture. We celebrated how well we navigated the situation, threw back a beer, and continued down the river. There's a lot to be said about the rest of that trip and how we had no choice to continue on. However, when I reflect on the movement of the water that day, I distinctly remember my body being pulled into multiple directions, multiple currents fighting over which direction my body would go. Whether it was up or down, side to side, my body continued going forward. Here's what I'm trying to get at. Hope is present with us even in the most dangerous of currents. It's also not the only current moving. It flows in tandem with love, joy, peace, hatred, anger, frustration, abuse, trauma, dreams, and sadness. But when we think about it, hope is actually the rocky parts of the water that keep the currents moving. To be able to believe in ourselves so that we can be free, that's hope. It's hard to do and even harder to maintain, but it's possible because hope moves us forward. Hope truly is the movement toward our whole selves, our full selves. Hope is the manifestation of who you are meant to be and the things that we go through. To have hope is pretty tough. And most of the time, it's a privilege, but it's not impossible. I mean, for the majority of folks who go to church and who call themselves Christians, I mean, we gather in the name of a baby born of a virgin who gave birth surrounded by animals. If that's what brings us together, I have enough hope to know that even we can arrive. I have enough hope to know that you will be seen, you will experience love, you will have joy, and we will experience peace. Hope will. Hope does. Hope makes. Hope is. Hope will. Hope makes. Hope does. Hope is. Hope will. Hope makes. Hope does. Hope is. Now it's your turn. Hope will. Hope makes. Hope does. Hope is. Thank you.
We're going to close the day with a song that was, Kevin tells me, at the first Pride Parade 30 years ago this year. It was the first one, 92. And it's one we've had in our hymnal for quite a while, and I'm glad we do. It's number 170, We Are a Gentle, Angry People. Please rise as you're able to sing this with me.
There is too much hardship in this world to not find joy every day. There is too much injustice in this world to not right the balance every day. There is too much pain in this world to not heal every day. Each of us ministers to a weary world. Let us go forth now and do that which calls us to make this world more loving, more compassionate, and more filled with the grace of divine presence every day. Amen, blessed be, and salam alaikum, and shalom.
Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom.